So because of the nature of this video, it feels really strange for me to be sat here today at this present moment in time to be talking about this. But if you are sat here watching this, if this has been uploaded to YouTube, then it will mean that we have announced that we are pregnant, which seems so surreal to say right now. I basically just wanted to sit and make this video so that Tommy and I had something to look back on, and also so that we could document this and share it with you all and kind of give another person's perspective and experience with this whole thing. Obviously, I am very new to this, and we are at the very beginning of what we are trying to do and trying to achieve, and I thought that this was the best time really to sit down and explain a few things and talk about the past couple of months and stuff and how things have changed and why things have changed. And then I'll probably, as time goes on, do maybe monthly updates depending on how successful we are or if anything in particular happens. And then I'll probably be doing vlog type videos if we go to doctor's appointments or when we find out we're pregnant, things like that, and they will follow or be as part of this video. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I've probably got quite a lot of time to work that out. So basically I'll start right at the very beginning because it's a very good place to start. Basically, Tommy has wanted children for as long as I can remember. We both have. I've always imagined myself with a big family. I've got 3 younger sisters. I grew up with a really big family. People were always around, and we both were on the same page that we wanted children at some point. Now, in the last 5 or 6 years, I would say, Thomas spoke about it quite regularly, and especially when we got married, there was a certain pressure, and the conversations about having children with other people, not just Tommy and myself, kind of were more and more, and they were more frequent, and there was a little bit of pressure, especially as soon as we got married. People would always ask when we were having children, which, just to touch on that, you know, at this present moment in time, it's not something that I feel very comfortable answering or talking about, and I would never dream of saying that to somebody else, because you just don't know what's going to happen. Tommy and I don't know if we're going to get pregnant at this point. This video might go up as a kind of a video that the end of the video might not be where I think it's going to be. You know, in a perfect world, Tommy and I will fall pregnant in the next couple of months and everything will kind of run smoothly. That might not be the case. I might be sat here now talking about wanting to get pregnant, and then in a few months time I'm having to go for different tests, or we have to look at other routes. So you really don't know what's going to happen. And I kept saying to Tom I wanted to be about 30. The years kept pushing on because there were so many things that I wanted to do, and my weight loss was a big part of that for me, and I know that isn't for everybody, but for me, I'd always said that I wanted to lose about 5 stone before we started trying for children, and the weight never shifted. So the date today as I'm talking to you is January the 23rd, 2018, and I last year obviously lost quite a lot of weight through my surgery, and now feel in a completely different place. And I kept saying to Tom that at the end of this year, at the end of 2018, we could start trying, so we'd have a baby in 2019, fingers crossed. And then something just clicked at the end of last year. There were a lot of bloggers and YouTubers and family members that kept popping up saying they were pregnant or they'd had a baby, and the more and more I thought about it and I looked at our lives as they are now and the place that Tommy and I are at now, it just seemed like the perfect time to start trying. So in December of 2017, that was the first month that we started trying, and it was scary. I felt at the time that we didn't really know what we were doing. I know really it's quite simple, but when you think that an act, having sex, can make a baby, in my head I couldn't click that there wasn't something more technical to it and that we should be doing something else. I don't know, it just seemed too simplistic. That's no reflection on our sex life, it's just the actual thing itself. It was just, I don't know, it was weird to get my head around at first, and it was scary. Tommy and I had always used protection, so it was, you know, something that we'd never really had a pregnancy scare. Obviously, because of my surgery, I have to have a vitamin A to Z every single day. So I contacted my nutritionist and said we were looking at trying to conceive, and she told me to start on the Pregnacare contraception vitamins because they have everything I need because of surgery, but also they have folic acid in too, which is obviously quite important where trying to conceive and growing a baby is concerned. So when we were actually in Edinburgh when it was that fertile time. And we went and I bought the Pregnacare vitamins, we bought ovulation tests. So I actually have some of the clear blue ovulation tests, which basically around the time that you think you're going to be ovulating, which is that crucial time, you wee on the stick and it tells you whether you are ovulating or whether you can expect to be ovulating in, I think it's 12 to 24 hours, because they're not 100% accurate. It's just that your fertile window is coming up, so you kind of know when the best time is and when you should be having the most sex, basically, to, you know, to up your chances of getting pregnant. We bought some of those and we just started trying, and honestly, the last couple of months I've never had so much sex in all of my entire life, and we've both been adamant, as I'm sure that most couples are when they go through this, that we didn't want it to be a kind of robotic tick boxing exercise, that we just had sex because we were trying to make a baby, and I didn't want it to become like a regimen. And that first month it really did. And you know, even if there was one day where I'd been, you know, down for the day, or we'd been arguing or whatever, and I really didn't feel like it, we'd still have sex because we were trying to make a baby. I don't know how much of this is TMI. I'm presuming we're all adults here and we know the facts about the birds and the bees. It got all very quite serious straight away. Once we decided, and I'd said to Tom, I'd like to start trying, that was it then. And then once I was able to start testing to see whether we were pregnant or not, even a few days before really, I tested very, very early on after ovulating, which was stupid, and did a test a day. If there was like a faint line, I was in here using the torch on my phone. You know, it was so weird for me to go from being someone that had spoken about it, wasn't really that bothered, didn't want to try for about a year, to then being so adamant that this is what we wanted and being so hopeful. So I was testing quite a lot, wasted so much money on pregnancy tests, and I felt like I had so many symptoms, and anything that I felt like I was feeling, I was Googling every single symptom and was acting a bit like a crazy person, honestly. And Tom was really fed up, like just got sick of me after the first couple of days, and he was like, you're putting too much pressure on this. And I was just like, I don't know how else to be. You know, I'm so excited about this now, and I know I shouldn't get like this just yet, but that's how I felt. That first month of trying in December was a little bit crazy. It wasn't that enjoyable. Although the excitement was there, it just, I don't know, I feel like it was probably a first month that a lot of people go through, but something that we didn't want to repeat, and I learned from my ways and my actions in the first month. So this month we have been trying again, and I actually, so last month, sorry, I thought I had so many symptoms, blah blah blah, and then I came on my period, so we weren't pregnant. So the second month of trying, January, we've just tried as usual, but really not put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I carried on with the ovulation tests. I know kind of when my fertile window is, and we try the run up to that and then around that time as well. I've also downloaded an app called Ovia, which I would highly recommend if you are, you know, in the process of trying for a baby and you've not got anything like this yet. It's basically an app where you can track your mood, you can say whether you've had sex that day, if you've taken an ovulation test, you know, how much exercise you've done, what medication you're taking, whether you've had a positive ovulation test, whether you've taken a pregnancy test, and it shows you when your fertile window is. You can put in when you've had a positive ovulation test, so it kind of tracks it from one cycle to the next, so that you have quite a good idea of when you're going to be fertile, tells you when you're expected to come on your period, and you can see whether your periods are regular or irregular because you can track it. And it also gives you like tips and tricks. There are really, you know, interesting and informative articles on there, and I'm not working with them or anything at all. It's an app I've downloaded and I've really enjoyed checking every day. It tells you, you know, how many days you've got until you can take a pregnancy test, your fertility score. So like when it's at 10, you're most fertile, and then it gets less and less as the days go on. It's been really handy and something that we've both enjoyed looking at together, to be honest. So that's where we're at the moment. I am due on in about 10 days, 9 or 10 days. So my app has told me that I can test at the end of this month to see whether we're pregnant or not. I've not had any symptoms so far. I am currently I'm currently 6 days post ovulation, and with implantation, the way that it works when the egg and sperm meet, I've got very up on this, I have to say, in the past few weeks. it normally takes about 7 to 12 days for implantation to occur. So I won't be having any symptoms as of yet because it's still very, very early on. But a lot of people have said that they have felt differences in their breasts and they felt nauseous or experienced some kind of symptom, very minor, in that first week after ovulation if they have been pregnant. So I am looking out for them. I know some people don't experience any symptoms whatsoever, but I'm looking out for them, but I'm not being as crazy as I was, where I'm like Googling every single thing. If I've got a headache, I'm Googling what it could mean. So we're taking things a lot more chilled this month. Something that at the moment I'm so hopeful for and really want to happen. You just never know. It's a complete kind of foreign territory and experience to us both at the moment. But hopefully by the time you're watching this, it won't be. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy this concept. Any questions? Obviously this is a very new, different direction for my channel because I've not had kids, I've never been pregnant. So we'll see where we go and what's in store for the future. So we're both happy, more in love than ever, excited, and just want to share everything and document it as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all hopefully quite soon.